Hello, darling. This is for Lacy. I hope you can see the cards. If not, I'll hold it up at the end. But I've been trying to figure out where to put this thing so that you can see me. 5 hours now. So I'm just going to have to go with it. Anyway, I love you. Only got 25 minutes of battery. I know this spread is way more than 25 minutes, so this is probably a useless pursuit, but I'm gonna give it a shot, even if I have to just send you bits of it at a time as I get it finished. So the spread that I'm going to work for you today is called the Resilient Spread. I devised it after listening to a Rising Appalachia song called Resilient, and I heard the verses were speaking to me in a way that seemed like it would be a really good spread. And I've practiced a few times with myself and with a few other people. I want to do one with you. And then I'm going to send one out to Chloe. We'll just see how it goes. And this isn't public. This is just you and me. So I don't even know where to start. I just guess I'm just going to tell you, I've shuffled your energy into these cards. The cards know this is for you. And the first card in the spread is the very beginning of the song. And the beginning starts, I am resilient. I trust the movement. I negate the chaos, uplift the negative. So this is your I am resilient card. It is 6. It's the Lovers. I move it a little just in case you need me to move it so that you can see it. That part I don't know. Anyway, so the Lovers is where you're resilient. You're resilient in your love for that man, for your darling James, and your little family that you made together. And as a couple, you're resilient. That's just the card I got for that. The next card in the spread is, let's see, I show up at the table again and again and again. I close my mouth and learn to listen. So what your card is for showing up is this, the 3 of Wands. I'm moving it a little because sometimes the light makes it so you can't see it. So I'm going to see what works the best. So that's the 3 of Wands. And again, this position is show up at the table. I show up at the table again and again and again. And this one is indicating that and you know, I know your dynamics and I can just talk to you because I know what's going on in your family. As 3, meaning you, Brooklyn, and James, this is you. And you're holding your own staff, and Brooklyn and James's are right there with you. You have set up your where you're going to show up, where are you going to live at, what are you going to do. And Wands or Staves is the group or the suit of action and initiation, and your intuition, if you're going to wave a wand in Harry Potter, that's what's going to make the thing happen. So this is the action that's going to make something happen. And it happens to be in the spread position of show up at the table again and again and again. But I close my mouth and learn to listen. This card represents someone he's a nobleman. He has authority, but he's going to stand back. There's boats behind, out in front of him, there's boats. The boats are indicative of someone else is going out to do the work. He has to stay back and let others do the work for a while. He's done the best he can to establish this firm foundation. And now it's time for others to take their part. I think that that's pretty significant. You show up at the table again and again and again. That's part of the song. But your card says when you're showing up, you got to let them show up too. You got to allow them to do what they need to do so that you don't end up feeling disappointed in them later, which we both know can be an issue for all of us. I'm going to put this black candle on, and I'm going to take a little hit. off my smoke. Okay, girl, the next card, the next part of the verse is, these times are poignant. The sands have shifted, or the winds, can't remember which it is, have shifted. It's all we can do to stay uplifted. Pipelines through backyards, wolves howling out front. Yeah, I got my crew with me, but truth is what I want. Okay, so this one, you're gonna die. Okay, so it's 8 of Swords. Eight. She appears to be bound, but you can see it's loosely wrapped. She is blind. She does have a blindfold on. Her feet are not bound. She can go. She can move. But she chooses to stay where she's bound. She chooses to stay like this. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 swords placed in the sand all around her feet. And there's her home, her house, her castles behind her. And she's ventured out away from the home. She has all this weaponry. And this weaponry is swords. Now, when we think about the sword suit, we need to think about going up in our head, our belief systems, our philosophy, what we say, what we speak, how we make our needs known. Now, in this position, we're at, these times are poignant. The winds have shifted. It's all we can do to stay uplifted. So when you feel that way, it's what this card says is, it's not all we can do to stay uplifted. Okay. She could walk away. She could, walk forward. Perhaps if she's stepping backward, she's stepping into everybody's actions and thoughts and feelings, or mainly thoughts and philosophies. Maybe she's blinding herself to her own thoughts, to her own philosophy. But the fact of the matter remains, she's somewhat bound by it, meaning you are somewhat bound by these ways of thinking and speaking and getting your needs met. What you're saying to get your needs met needs to be accurate. So if you need an hour to yourself, you need to say, I need an hour to myself. If you need time with them because you feel like all you have is Raven and you need more grown-ups around you, then you need to say, I'm losing my mind. I need more grown-ups. Let's go be by grown-ups. If it's something about the bills or something about this one isn't. This one doesn't indicate that it's anything about your job. This all indicates getting your needs met by knowing what they are and being able to articulate what your needs are in a way that others will perform for you in the way that you know they can. So if you're going to be disappointed, you've got to know your involvement and your role in that disappointment. That's what this card means. All right, let's move on. So the next card is, all right, we've gone through that. We show up, you're in your relationship with the man and you're all in. Okay, you're not guessing anymore. You know you're in. You're in this relationship with as 3 adults, and you're going to allow them, you're going to step back and watch them be the adults they can be. This one is, you're going to know what your needs are and be able to articulate them in a way that gets your needs met, and you're not going to blind yourself to your own responsibility in that. Now that we've done that, we're realigned and on point. Power to the peaceful, prayers to the waters, women at the center, all vessels open to give and receive. Let's see this system brought down to its knees. Oh, oh, oh. Whoa, oh, oh, oh. Okay, so that's the song. Oh, I'm giving shivers. And you got a 2 of staves. So when you're realigned and on point, you're no longer blindfolded. You are now gazing into the gazing globe. You are in a safe position now. Now that you've realigned, you can see things for what they are. You can see into the future a little bit. You can see at all, because before you were like this, and now you're gazing into the globe of history, future, present, but you're gazing. You're looking at it. You're looking at life, your life, other people's lives. You're not like this. You're not just talking nonsense. You're actually seeing what's before your eyes. And it's the beginning. It's the beginning of this creative process because it's a 2 of staves. Staves is that creationary time, like, again, like the wands of Harry Potter. So this is about to make some things happen with reality at the center and from a position of strength. This girl only can hold one of her staves. The other one is placed in front of her with a bracket, holding it in front of the, gosh, there's smoke. A bracket holding it. Here, look at the bracket. So you see, she's got that second one. The second wand is fixed. It's in the place that she would need to have defense. So that's already fixed. She has something in place for that. And she's got her hand on her own. So you've got double the amount of what you need to do what you want to do. And your eyes are open. You're looking at reality. You're not being lied to. You're not lying to yourself. You're looking right at it. And you're ready. You're ready to start because this is a 2. 2s often talk about decisions or choices. This one has a lot more to do with seeing reality for what it is. So, the next card, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's where we just were. 5. Let me turn the page. I'm made of. Okay, what are we made of? This card talks about what are we made of. I'm made of thunder. I'm made of lightning. I'm made of dirt. Yeah, I'm made of the fine things. My father taught me that I'm a speck of dust. And this world was made for me. So let's go and try our luck. We are infinitesimally small in the grand scheme of the huge planet and glacial time and history and future. We're just a speck. Our lives only last for an instant in glacial time. But we know what we're made of. We know where we came from. We know that we are significant. We aren't so, our lives and what we do and how every single decision we make, it's not a huge grand thing in the grand scheme of things. It's small. You know, if I'm going to make a move to Bozeman, might seem like a big, gigantic move to you. But in the grand scheme of things, you didn't move to Paris. Okay? You didn't move to Africa. Right? You just made a little jump, put things in perspective, and know that you are small in this huge reality, consensus reality. And things you do cause a ripple, but they don't cause a tsunami. So go ahead and take that chance. Go ahead and skip that rock. Go ahead and make your efforts because they're worthwhile and you're worthy. That's what this is about. And the card that you got in this position, oh, he's wearing a lotus skirt. Anyway, he's a dude. He's a page. It's the Page of Cups. So it's the beginning of a new position in your relationships. I say beginning because he's the page. We've already, at this card, you've already gone through 1 through 10 of cups. You've already run the gamut, and now you're up into the court cards. And the court cards have page, knight, queen, and king. So a page is the beginning, like a freshman in high school or a freshman in college. You know, you've already finished the thing right before, and you're just starting anew at this new stage, but you're all in, just kind of like, you know, the lovers, you know, you're all in, and you're going to start. You're going to just take your first step. And cups has to do with relationships with others, relationships with ourselves, our perception of others and our perception of ourselves. And the fact that he's standing mighty and he's got the cup raised and there's a fish jumping in. So that means he's got you have all of what you need emotionally available to you. And you just have to jump in. You just have to uh, ride the wave like a surfboard. You just have to jump into allowing the relationships that are going to occur, allow them to unfold and be what they are, acknowledge that you're involved in it, but you are not the one stirring the pot. You are not the one activating it all. You are joining in, and y'all are just starting. You're just starting this new phase of relation with the rest of the world around you. Makes sense with the Bozeman move because you're just starting there. But the thing is, what are you made of? That's the position. You're made of beginnings. You're still young. You're not a crone like me. You're not an old lady. You don't have to throw away. You would have to throw away a lifetime of knowledge wherever you are, but it's not as long of a lifetime of knowledge. It's not as ingrained, and you have the ability to see things for what they are, to see when you're blinding your own vision. You have that ability now. So know it and stand up in that. And that's what this card says. Know what you're made of. Know what you've done before and know what you're capable of. The next card in the spread is our roots. I've got my roots down. And this root card shows your ancestors. So it's the women in your life, your mother, motherhood, whoever's been your mother for you, you as a mother, all of this feminine energy, all of this receptive vessel energy is part of your ancestry. So when you are feeling perhaps depleted, defeated, anything that you could be feeling, you have to step back from that, sit down in your chair of awesome, know that you came from the turmoil and shit show that you came from. You survived. You were loved. You were brought into this world. You love others. You've brought others into this world, and you're capable. And you've been all along very capable, whether you've acted like it or not, whether you want to admit it or not, you've been capable and you've managed. And that's what the Queen of Cups is talking about. She is capable of managing her relationships. And when she feels she's not, she's going to sit down in that chair of awesome. She's going to think about her ancestry. She's going to think about all the women who came before her. And she's going to go on and be the woman she can be. Going to Michelle Obama the hell out of that shit. That's what I'm saying. So that's that one. Boy, it's going faster than I thought. Okay. You've got your roots down deep. That's your ancestors. Call on your ancestors for help if you need to. The next one is, so what are we doing here? What has been done? What are we going to do about it when the world comes undone? My voice feels tiny, and I'm sure so does yours. But put them all together and make a mighty roar. So you need to come together with others and do this beginning and know what you're made of, and think about what is it that we've done and what are we going to do if things fall apart. Sure, plan. Get your plan on straight. Remember there's steps. They're not always linear. Sometimes you're polka up to where you need to go. Sometimes you're doing the electric slide up to where you need to go. Sometimes you're too drunk to know if you're polkaing or electric sliding. So this has a lot to do with awareness. And your card that you got, what are we going to do? We're going to be a brand new, beautiful, female fool. We're going to take that first step. We're going to do whatever it takes. We're going to jump off the nest. I think you've probably heard me say before with the Wild Unknown deck, it's a little bird taking a step off, the perch of his where he's up in the tree. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's so scary to be a bird and have to drop. I could drop and I could go to my death. But a bird's going to do what a bird's going to do. And this bird thinks it's time to walk. And he's going to walk out into that open area of unknowing. And I like to ask the clients, look around your neighborhood. Go somewhere where there's lots of trees. Look down at the base of all the trees. You see big old piles of dead baby birds there from all the failures they've attempted? No. You might find a baby bird skull once in a while. You might find an egg at the bottom of the tree. You don't see piles and piles of baby birds. Because when that bird takes off and steps out of the nest, That's what it's supposed to do. That's what it's meant to do. That urge to start and to go and to make something happen. The first step of something new. Could be something you've planned a long time. Could be something you never even imagined. The first step has to happen, and you're capable of doing it. And what are we made of? What are we going to do? We're going to take that first step. That's what your card reads in that position. So now that you've gone all the way around this song, the last two, or the first verse, the next two cards repeat. So she's gone all the way around, and now she sings, I am resilient, because you've done all this, and now you know, I am resilient. Yes. I trust the movement. I negate the chaos. I uplift the negative. And the card you received is the 10 of Cups. And it's the happy family. It's the, we've got everything we need. Times are grand. I am resilient, meaning it's always going to be all right. It's going to be grand again. You're going to get another 10 in your relationships. You're going to get another full plate at Thanksgiving. You're going to get another diploma after a learning episode. You are going to come to fruition every time you go through these steps. It's saying when you come back around, why are you resilient? Because you're going to keep going through the steps, and you're going to keep showing up, and you're going to be resilient. That's that one. You're going to be rewarded for that behavior. And the last card in the spread, God, I have a cigarette. The last card in the spread is the second part of the first verse. I show up at the table again and again and again. I close my mouth and learn to listen. You got to keep showing up. You got to keep closing your mouth. You got to keep listening to what other people are saying, listening to what's being told to you. And then you take that back to your seat of awesome with your Queen of Cups, and you interpret that information. But you got to show up. You got to close your mouth, not be in charge. And you've got to listen to those around you and listen to what's happening in your area. So the card for that, for you, is the Knight of Cups. Lots of cups. So cups are the relationship with others, relationship with self, and your perceptions of others, perceptions of yourself, your emotions, all of that romantic love, all of that, those soul ties that aren't romantic, you know. And he is riding on a horse that is just full of cups. You know, that horse has bells and cups all over him. The boy is the same boy that you got by the water, standing by the water with his cup and holding his hand out saying, you know, I've got this. This is what we're made of. And so now when you've come all the way around full circle and you're going to show up at the table, you do that again, but you're on a vehicle now. You're on the strength of a steed. Now that you've gone all the way around and you've taken all your first steps, then you get to have the reaping of the rewards. You've got to take the time to do so. You've got to allow the horse you're riding on to actually move. It doesn't do you any good to go out and hit your second rodeo, because it ain't your first rodeo, and just sit on the horse. I mean, you know, let's open the gate. I mean, good God. Okay, so that's the deal. You've got to move. You've got to keep moving in the direction. Change your direction, that's fine. Keep moving. And when you have these questions about, am I doing it right? What is my next step? That's when you shut your mouth, look and listen, take that blindfold off, pay attention, and know that you're safe. That I have to say, you have to know that you're safe. You have to, I believe that's huge in all of these. Because in 8 up here, when she's in the perils, she's safe. You see anybody up there? Are any of those opponents with all their swords there to hurt her? Hell no. Okay? Is she tied up at the feet? Can she not leave there? Hell no. Okay? You hear what I'm saying? She's safe. She's just not looking at it. All right? You've got to look at it and know that you're safe and make your decisions. Now, the last card is no longer part of, you know, the song, the verses. It's the kind of significator. I just pick it up and break it wherever it breaks, and it's here. This is what we get. This is what you get today. Oh, 6 of Swords. This is a ferryman. At times, it does have to do with a death or a crossing over. Sometimes it's an actual death. Sometimes it's just the death of the old self. Sometimes it's a change or a loss in some other way that, could be represented by death. But the main point is this person's resting in a seated position that's, again, very safe and secure, being pulled or rowed along in a boat by someone else. So they're not doing the work. They're sitting still and watching and listening while others are transporting them. One person is transporting her. And she's crossing the waters, and she's going to the other side. That's the part that has to do with death. Cross those waters and get to the other side. Perhaps the death needs to be, according to this reading, you need to bury that part of you that felt insecure, that felt as if you weren't being provided for, or that you were being abandoned as a child or even as a grown. You have to know you're secure. Even if you're in the front of a boat that somebody else is pulling and getting you moving along, you're still secure. You don't have to hold that pole and move that boat. You can sit in it and get to the other side, and someone else can be your vehicle to get to where you need to go. And you would be a hindrance if you would stand in that boat at that time. See, you're the passenger. And allow other people's provisions to keep you safe and get you to where you need to go. Trust the person that's behind you, pulling your boat forward and across the expanse of where you need to get. Trust others. Not having trust in others and not believing that others have your best interest in mind, it's an immense drawback. It's something that I think you've sort of grown into from your circumstances. But that, I believe, is the thing that has to die. You have to have trust in others. You have to allow them to propel you also. I don't know where to go from here. I think it was a very solid reading. I think the circles came all the way back and around, and it feels like nearly every card had an aspect of another. And I feel like it's a really cool spread for looking at where you are at this point in your life right now, what you've come through, where you come from, perhaps where you need to go, and taking those blinders off. I need your feedback. I need your questions. Let me know if I have a feeling when you watch this, it's all going to make perfect sense. And when you see the pictures on the card, you're going to go, yes, of course. But I don't know, let me know how you feel about it and how you think I should end these things. I am going to pick the camera up and give you a nice firm look at all of them. I'll move these second 2 over so you can tell that they aren't the originals. They're the second time around. But definitely give it a look over. I think my